Western New York Trendy Trikes is dedicated to providing adaptive Amtrak tricycles to children with disabilities. And joining us now to talk about it are Olia and Lisa. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So can you first tell us about what an adaptive Amtrak trikes are and why they are life-changing for people with disabilities?
Sure, yeah. Amtrak bikes are basically a tricycle that's on a bigger scale, and it has all kinds of different options for different supports in order to give a child with disabilities any kind of support that they need to be able to ride that bike. It can offer support laterally here. It can have an H harness. It can have a seat belt with a headrest, straps for the foot pedals, any of those.
Any way of which that child needs that support.
Exactly, yes.
And tell us how access to adaptive biking actually supports physical therapy goals, independence, as well as inclusion.
Yeah, so riding a bike helps a child to improve strength, coordination, endurance, postural control, even head control when a child is working in an upright posture against gravity. Also helps with motor planning and helping to build those foundational skills for walking and stairs and running with the reciprocal movement that the pedals offer. Also, it helps to give them a cardiovascular opportunity that they may not get otherwise when in other aspects of their life. And most importantly, in my opinion, it helps to give them a sense of autonomy and independence. They get to realize that they do have a little bit of control over their mobility and to be able to access their environment and not rely as much on caregivers.
And you both know this well. You have a child with disabilities and you actually work with some of these children. So tell us a little bit about how this kind of got started for you.
Well, as a pediatric physical therapist at St. Mary's School for the Deaf, I was working with a couple of my students to try and get them some bikes for their house. I had tried to apply to insurance companies and Medicaid, and they were all denied, saying that they were not considered medically necessary. So I just happened to come upon a Facebook page, a pediatric PT Facebook page that said to check out a local AMBUCS chapter. I had no idea what AMBUCS was at the time, and I had to Google it, of course. So I found a chapter in Jamestown that actually did take our applications, and about a year later, they called and said to come pick up the bikes, and it was amazing. So I was so overwhelmed by the generosity of the chapter that I was like, you know what, we have such a large community of children with disabilities in our area that we need something more local.
And Olia, you can talk to this because your child has one of these bikes. Tell us about what it's meant to her.
So someone who has experienced the joy of seeing a child riding a bike when we were told that she would never walk, she would never be able to participate in regular activities, has been life-changing. She got a bike when she was about 2.5 years old that was passed down to us, and it happened to be by the brand Amtrak, which is AMBUCS manufactures and tries to support communities by giving them away. But anyway, so seeing her on that bike was amazing. And in addition, many children with disabilities, they have to participate in physical therapy, right, in order to either maintain or improve their mobility. And we all know, like as an adult, when you go to the gym, it's hard work. Going to physical therapy, it's hard work. These bikes, they provide a joyful and motivating experience. Not to mention that you can be out there with your peers. I also have an older son, and my daughter could never participate, so I would have to push her in a stroller while he would be riding his scooter or riding his bike. And, it would keep her on the sidelines. And when we got that adoptive bike, and she was able with a big smile to pedal with her arms down the driveway, and my son would be scooting right along her on his trike, it's life-changing. During COVID, when there were shutdowns, we were able to take our trike into the parks and participate with other peers safely. Or even now, we go camping, we bring a bike, and she meets other kids on the playground, somewhere other kids on campgrounds riding a bike, and it's just amazing. Amazing to see a child do something that they couldn't do and be included, because I think every child should have a part of their childhood experience being able to ride a bike.
Absolutely.
And these adaptive bikes give them exactly that. It has a lot of health benefits, but it also allows them to be right there, right with their peers, siblings, to be out there in a community and enjoying the same things every child should.
I love this. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. Like they mentioned, these are not covered by insurance and they're costly. So viewers, if you'd like to support their mission, you can follow them on social media and donate through the link right there on your screen. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank
Thank you so much.